Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Brendan and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, it is great to have you. And today I'm going to be explaining everything that you need to know about the most recent cryptocurrency crash. Now, if you guys have been part of the channel for any period of time now, you would know that I have been talking about this. Between the 200 EMA breaking and Bitcoin going to $30,000, or the similarities between the current 2021 run and the 2017 run, Bitcoin has been poised for a very heavy pullback and potentially even the end of the bull market. So that's what I want to talk about today. Is the Bitcoin bull market over? Can altcoins continue to run? Or is this just the end? And if so, how far will Bitcoin really pull back before we see the next bull run to break all-time highs? So if that sounds interesting at all, make sure you guys stick around for the entire length of the video, as there will be important information discussed the entire way through. But that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this here. Now, first things first, in order to understand if the current cryptocurrency bull market is over, we have to understand just how similar this parabolic market cycle has been to the previous one that happened back in 2017. Now, we're going to take a look at that in just a second, but what I mean by this is probably my third parabolic market cycle. It's nothing new. This is just about a carbon copy of what happened last time. And what I mean by that is that when Bitcoin had its initial run up over here, as we see, Bitcoin topped out first about a month and a half ago. Now, after Bitcoin topped out, it has been, pretty consistently going downwards and bleeding out. Now, money was bleeding out of Bitcoin and into the altcoins, and after the altcoins were done running about a month and a half later, just like it happened last time, again, we'll take a look at that in just a second, the very, very low market cap altcoins, otherwise known as the poop coins, gotta say that so I don't get demonetized, the very, very bad or low market cap cryptocurrencies made the final run. And this always works in a 3-segment program. We have Bitcoin going first, then the altcoins, and then the very, very poopy coins that end up running last. Now, this is done, and as we go back and take a look at this 2017 bull run on Bitcoin, this is done because they are categorized by market cap. Bitcoin takes the most amount of capital to go on these runs because it has the largest market cap. It takes more money to move Bitcoin than it does the altcoin, and it takes more money to move most mainstream altcoins than it does the total crap coins. So as here we can see, back in 2017, Bitcoin topped out at its high really between December 7th and December 14th. Now, about a month and a half after this, the altcoins topped out. Ethereum topped out. XRP, Tron, Verge, a bunch of those other cryptocurrencies topped out, and the money from Bitcoin was bleeding into them. Again, the exact same thing is happening. I don't want to beat a dead horse too much here because we talked about this in Monday's video, but I just wanted to show you guys how similar this is. Now, the second factor of what's happening over here is that Bitcoin cracked this 200 EMA. This was a very significant support. I've been talking about this for a very, very long time. This is the daily chart, and I said in Monday's video, if Bitcoin cracks the 200, it was going to get ugly, and my price target was 30,000, which was almost to the dollar exactly what we hit. The reason for that is because this was an extremely important support for Bitcoin. And I'm looking for one main thing here, and that is a rejection from this previous support. The previous low, what was previously support, now turned resistance. But the reason that this was such a strong support on Bitcoin is because this was not only a previous all-time high, but this was also the 200 EMA on this one-day time scale. Again, those two on top of each other should not have broken if Bitcoin wants to stay in a bull market. And I know that that's a bold statement, but it's true. And with this happening, we have the previous support from this range still acting as support. As I said in Monday's video, again, word for word, it should hold. But if this actually ends up breaking, things are going to continue to get very ugly for Bitcoin. And I think that it has a pretty good chance at breaking to new lows. Now, we'll see how this plays out over the next day or two, because, things are going to be very volatile. Bitcoin, don't get me wrong, Bitcoin is going to bounce, and then it's going to dump, and it's going to bounce and dump, and maybe that'll be it. But for the next week or so, Bitcoin is going to be extremely volatile, and you can bet on that. Maybe not literally, because nothing I say is legal, financial, or tax advice in any way. Have to throw that disclaimer in there. But with Bitcoin being at this level, and as we are recording this, the new daily candle just opened up. So this will be a pretty interesting time. But I do want to get on to the 4-hour chart to get over to a little bit more of the specifics of Bitcoin, because as we go over here, when this support broke, we immediately saw this bounce off of 30K and the bounce right back up to, you guessed it, the previous support now turned resistance, for Bitcoin. Now, this is not what you want to see. You have a death cross on the 4-hour time scale. You have previous macro support on 2 different levels being now used as resistance, and Bitcoin immediately has sold off from this area, and we have not tested anywhere near it since then. So what Bitcoin really needs to see here is this daily candle that we literally just opened up during this video. This needs to rocket Bitcoin past $44,000 and get above this 200 EMA. If Bitcoin can do that, the bull market could continue to live on. If it can't, and Bitcoin starts candle body closings on a daily timescale below, I would say, $40,000, then I think that things will continue to get ugly for Bitcoin. Now, one of the biggest things here that I should have mentioned earlier, that is that when Bitcoin is going through these parabolic market cycles, it almost always falls and bottoms out between 60 and 80%. Let me show you an example, and I'll probably mention this in the next video because it is so freaking important to know. And actually, for the sake of making this easy, we're just going to go to the daily. So here we are back in 2017. If we want to go ahead and measure this out from the top of where Bitcoin was, oops, that's the wrong tool. From the top of where Bitcoin was to where it bottomed out, it dropped around 84, 85%. This was an extra volatile one. Could this time be worse? Yes, but to be honest, I doubt it. I don't think it's going to be 85% drop. The next bull market that happened after that, and there are previous ones before this, but I'd have to go to a different exchange to show those. So for the sake of simplicity, I'll just show this mini bull market that we had back over here. Where did Bitcoin drop? It dropped 73% from 14K to 3K. Now, we're looking at this time saying, really, this is no different from the previous 2017 bull run. What would that look like on this time scale? Well, if I had to guess, and it was going to happen just like any of the other market cycles that Bitcoin has been in since it was made back, like, what was that, 11 years ago now? 10, 11 years ago, give or take. Well, let's see. Well, we've really only fallen about 53, 54%. So that means if we were really to fall towards kind of the minimum here, I would expect Bitcoin to get to at least $26,000. Now, if we're going to get even more pessimistic on Bitcoin and say, well, maybe it's going to be as bad as the last time, then that would mean Bitcoin would go to around $8,000 or $9,000. So in a worst case scenario, I see Bitcoin going maybe $8,000 to $9,000. In arguably a best case scenario, the bottom is in right now. But in a realistic scenario, I see Bitcoin going to around $25,000, $26,000. Now, once Bitcoin gets below that, I am going to be extremely comfortable buying Bitcoin. And now, I'm already pretty comfortable buying Bitcoin because if Bitcoin goes back to its all-time high, and we measure this out from where it's at right now, and if you bought the bottom, which would have been very hard because exchanges were crashing left and right, if you would have bought the bottom and Bitcoin goes back to its all-time high, you would make roughly 115%, which is awesome. So I'm already, somewhat comfortable buying Bitcoin at this level, but I also understand that when Bitcoin bounced back in 2017 and had this market cycle, it had a lot of massive bounces before an even greater downfall that came. And it took some time to consolidate before the bulls were really ready to recollect themselves. So I fully understand that this thing is going to be parabolic, it's going to go up and down, there's going to be lots of bounces, and if this truly is the end of this bull market cycle, then this will probably not be the bottom. We'll probably continue to bleed towards the downside. And if I am looking for any real kind of area, it's somewhere between Bitcoin's retracement of 60 and 80%, and that's where I would be most comfortable, because in the four market cycles that Bitcoin has been in, like, I don't know what, I think this is the this is probably like the third or fourth macro one. I don't really count the one that happened back in like 2019 that we were looking at over here when Bitcoin went to 14,000 and then to 3,000. I don't know if I would count that as a macro one. Usually the macro ones revolve around the halving. But with this happening over here, yeah, we've probably been in 3 or 4, and they almost always retrace between 60 and 80%. So that's where I am most comfortable buying Bitcoin. And I think it's very safe to say, I'm comfortable saying it, that if Bitcoin goes below 60% from its all-time high, I will be buying a ton of Bitcoin. Now, for all the new people that this is your first time going through something like this, again, I can't reiterate enough, this is nothing new. For someone who has been through this for years on years, literally since I was in I think, can we call high school grade school? Literally since I was in high school, I've been going through this stuff. High school, college, I'm well out of college now, and this is nothing new. So that's what I just had to say. This was almost a little bit of a rant because the amount of cryptocurrency gurus that I've seen pop up in the last 2 months of people who have never been through something like this, have no historical understanding of what this is, and have all these crazy reasons for the causes and effects and how it will recover and this and that. Listen, I could be completely wrong. As someone who's been in this for a while, I'm willing to admit that. Sometimes cryptocurrency pulls the most unpredictable rabbits out of the hat, and that's just part of the cryptocurrency game. I mean, sometimes things just go nuts for no reason. However, if this is anything like what it's been in the past, it's nothing new. It's nothing to freak out about over. And a lot of people are saying buy the dip. A lot of other people are saying selling the rip. Personally, if Bitcoin's down 50% from its all-time high, I don't think that it's an awful buying opportunity. Could it fall more? I think it probably would. But that's just my 2 thoughts. Getting into a little bit of a rant here. That is going to be it for this video. I'll probably make a second, more updated video on this in probably like 1 to 2 days. I'll probably make a video on Ethereum tomorrow and then really recap the bullet points and the important material from this and crunch this into a lot smaller of a video for maybe like this weekend. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, as there will be lots more content like this coming out. If this does interest you, I'd love to have you as part of the community, and I will leave a link to the Discord in the description down below. Again, completely free, no strings attached. But that's going to be it, guys. I appreciate all of you for watching and supporting the channel, and I will see all of you in the next video.